So I'm working on this album, and I thought I would just start talking about it, talking about the process, just riffing, just riffing. Little behind the scenes look. So the main thing that I'm thinking about or noticing is this theme about intuition, like following your intuition as an artist. So what happened to me recently, I started working on this album maybe a month ago, maybe more, but I put in a lot of time. And to give you some context, I've written songs and recorded albums in different ways over the years. So what I mean by that is sometimes I'll write the songs beforehand. I'll know all the lyrics, all the chords, all the vocal melodies. Then I'll record the basics of the song. Then I'll add on extra stuff like, you know, bass lines or lead guitar parts, whatever. An example of that type of song, like the album I made a while back is called Breakfast. I wrote all the songs, then I recorded all the songs. A song like Baby Steps, I don't know if you know that one, but it starts with this bass line. It's like boom, 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 boom. I had no idea what that song would be before I started recording it. So I created the song by recording it. And that's another cool way to do it. I've actually made a lot of music that way. I've made a lot of music both ways. One is not better than the other, in my opinion. What happens though is when I record a song and write it at the same time, like Baby Steps, then at the end of the day, I have a song. There it is, cool. It's up on the internet, people know it, people listen to it. So yeah, it's a song that I wrote, but at the same time, it's not a song that I play. I've learned how to play it over the years, but like when I released that album, for example, if someone was like, cool, will you play Baby Steps? I'd be like, shit, how would I play Baby Steps? Like, how do you do it on just a guitar? Like, I'd have to sit down and think about it. So it's like almost like I don't even know how to play some of these songs that I've recorded. It's a weird thing to say, but it's true. And if you've done music production, you know what I mean. It's like you probably have some songs where it's like if you were asked to play them live, just you and a guitar, it'd be like, shit, how am I gonna do this? How do I recreate everything that all these layers are bringing along into this song? How do I just play it flat out? And it's weird. It doesn't always translate. It's kind of strange. But then through practice, you can then learn, how do I make this into a real song that I can play live? And you can translate it, but it's a process. So it's like there's two songs. There's the real playable version, and then there's the recorded version. Now, of course, if you have technically trained, highly skilled musicians and notation and everything's written out, and session musicians and they learn the parts or hear them quick, you can do a lot more. But in my experience, I'm not that type of musician. That's all to say, there's these two main ways that I've made albums or particular songs. Write them beforehand, then record, or have no idea what the song is, but just start recording and see what happens. So this album that I've been working on in the past month or two, very much in that second category of no idea what these songs are going to be, really, just recording, seeing what happens. And I came up with a bunch of stuff, and I'm happy with a lot of it. I think it's cool. Like a lot of electric guitars and drums, and I think the songs are kind of fun. But I woke up maybe a week ago in the morning, and I was like, nope, though that's not the album. It's not the album. I need to start over. And this is what I mean with intuition. Like, it was just a strong intuition. Like there's something about what I had created that intuitively was not lined up with where I was and what I wanted to be doing. So then I thought, well, I guess I got to start over. And essentially, well, not essentially, truly, that's what I've done. There's a few songs that are going to be, I'm going to keep, whatever. Like, sorry, I'm at the grocery store. It's really fucking loud here. Hang on. Roll up the windows. Okay. But yeah, I realized I wanted to make an album in a way that's more simple, that's more something that I could play at a campfire. Like, these are songs that I can play. These are real songs with, melodies and words that I can play. And it's not so much about coming up with cool, flashy riffs. Although I love a flashy riff. It's not so much about, like, I don't know, making something that's like, whoa, that's crazy. It's going to be real simple. It's still going to have musical layers. So there's going to be guitar, vocal, horns. I'll probably add drums on some songs. I'll probably add bass. Might add some electric, like, guitar. It's not like I'm just going to make a super sparse album, but at the core, these songs are all going to be more simple in the sense of very playable. Like the kind of song you could strip everything else away and still just play on acoustic guitar and have it sound decent. So, yes, that's a big change. So really, yesterday I kind of started that process where I just started over. So another interesting thing with intuition, though, is like if you're a perfectionist, this is a weird piece because, oh look, I just noticed you can see the grocery store I'm at. This is like an ad. Hopefully it won't get taken down. It's not like illegal. It's like, you can't use that brand. Whatever. But okay, forget it. There. Now I'm at who knows what grocery store. No idea. Okay, but so the thing with intuition also, though, is if you're a perfectionist, maybe you think, oh, I just have this intuition that this whole project is shit and I should just start over, throw it all away. Like, it's interesting. It's possible, I think, to throw your whole art project away out of an intuition, which in reality is actually just a kind of criticism of yourself or your art that's a little too harsh, and it's like, no, this isn't garbage. I don't need to throw this all away just because I don't, whatever, some thought crosses my mind. To me, the difference, though, is when it's intuition, it is positive. It's positive. It's a positive thing. It's not just a negative thing. And this is how I experience it. So, for example, with this, you might think, well, he's saying he put in so much time on these other songs, then woke up one morning and realized he needed to start over, essentially, with a totally different thing. You might think that would be frustrating or kind of difficult or something, but actually not at all. I feel like relieved in a way. And so because I have an inspiration to make what I really want to make. So to me, the inspiration or the intuition, it's like comes with inspiration. It's not just a negative thing of like, I have an intuition that I suck at art. That's just a judgment. That's not intuition that I'm talking about. What I'd be talking about with intuition is like, I have an intuition that this art I'm making isn't reflective of what is most fresh and true to me right now. Because that's easy to do as an artist, is to make stuff that you think worked before So now I'm going to do the same thing again. Try to replicate this cool thing I used to do because I think people will like it, or I think it will be well received, or I think this and that. Nothing wrong with that, honestly. Hey, if you're making whatever, if you're making music and it's paying your bills and you just keep doing it and you keep paying your bills, that's great. I don't see any problem with that. And I'm not trying to make that a problem, but I'm just saying if you're making music not just to pay your bills, but because it's also like there's a creative process that you want to explore and an aspect of expressing yourself that you want to explore, then part of the process is connecting with your own inspiration, which to me is a very intuitive process. Like nobody can really tell you. I'm seeing a woodpecker right now. It's very beautiful. Very beautiful woodpecker, like right in front of my car. Cool. But so yeah, that's a side note around inspiration or intuition, and how if the so-called intuition is just negative, then maybe that's fear. Maybe that's not really intuition. If the intuition includes discarding something in favor of a positive other thing to pursue, and you feel good about it, it feels right, then go for that. Go for that, because I think that's, whether people like it or not, I think that's what kind of fuels the artistic life of a person, is to follow that and to listen to that. But it's an interesting process to listen to it because it won't always make things the most efficient. Not always. Though I will say, actually, weirdly, I think when a person is following their intuition, a lot of the bullshit and the really time consuming things about making art are less, they're less central to the process. I think kind of intuition based art is a little more like, how do I put it? There's grace. And that word maybe is loaded with religious or Christian things, but I don't mean it that way. I just mean like when you're following your intuition, you don't create stuff out of this super painful, really like belabored, like cumbersome thing. It's more just like it's a little more chill. And that's my experience of it. Again, I'm actually really not trying to say art created with intuition is better than art created in a more calculating way, because I don't believe that. I actually really don't. I think like probably a lot of the really great music that has been created has not just been like easily just flowed out of the artist. I think there's a lot of amazing art that is the result of a tedious process that, but probably that tedious process was being fueled by an inspiration that was intuitively correct for the artist who was pursuing that. It's my guess. So that's a bunch of thoughts on intuition, and yeah, I'm excited about this album, and that's all. I thought I'd share some of that with you, and so here's to creativity. If you have a project you're thinking about, when the time is right, I hope that you're able to enjoy that process. Okay.